All right, another one of these, like 30 seconds after the previous one. And let's see if we can continue from where we were there. This one gets a little shaky because I don't remember exactly how it plays out, but we'll see. Thus did the Achaeans pour forth into that great chasm that Diomedes had created in the Trojan ranks. All the heroes were there, great Odysseus and the giant Ajax, and the great runner Ajax, and all of the men Idomeneus had brought from Crete, and Nestor even, the Gerenian horseman, with his son Antilochus and his other Thrasymedes, all fought within that opening within the Trojan lines. So many they slew, so many had fallen, and ground up the dust with their teeth. And soon were many of the Trojans to take heart. None knew how this was happening. But that son of Priam, the Prince Hector, had rallied his men, had been inspired by Apollo, and brought forth his strength against these Achaeans. The Trojans and the Lycians and the Dardans he begged and pleaded with to come with him, and setting the example with his strength, took down many an Achaeans. Morion he took down, and Echecles, and Megacles as well, casting that spear and cutting forth their helmet rims so that their brains were splattered within the bronze. The Achaeans began to give ground. Some of the heroes had to step forth into other parts of the field, so strong were the Trojan lines becoming. And Ares had stalked across the field there, bringing and sowing seeds of destruction for many of the men. His attendant Strife had cast through the field, sowing her seeds among the Trojans and Achaeans, so that none were quite so organized as when Diomedes had broken forth that line. And it seemed as if the gods were set against the Achaeans now, made to come forth and be slaughtered within this opening. It was clearly a killing zone for the Achaeans, and many had to retreat slightly to go back and begin taking on the other parts of the line. Thus had all the heroes gone, and Diomedes too was removing himself. But only Gerenian Nestor had been continuing to stay in that spot. He it was who Paris, the son of Priam, Alexander, had shot a poison-barbed arrow straight at his horses, and it hit the leader of the team right under where the great crest was to go, that spot of speediest death for a horse. And it had raged and rampaged and cried forth, and Nestor, his car, was all tangled up. He was currently trying to cut forth the trace horse and reapply to his car. But the Trojans had been closing in. Diomedes, who had taken up another chariot, said to him, "Great Gerenian horseman, abandon that chariot. Your charioteer is but a weakling, and your horses are all scattered. Come and join me on my car. I have not my attendant with me, so you may cast the spear while I drive the horses, or we can switch and you drive the horses while I cast the spear. Come quickly now." Nestor did not need any more prompting. His charioteer had been long since killed by a stray spear of Hector's, and all the men around them, the Lycians and the Dardans and the Paphlagonians and the Carians, were closing in, many of the contingents taking their day of glory. And Nestor came up on that car with Diomedes, and they wheeled round, but not before they saw Hector of the flashing helm. Diomedes wanted to wheel back again and take him on, but Nestor, fearing for his life, said to him, "Nay, Diomedes, do not take on that man. Can you not see that he is helped by some god? On this day the Trojans are taking the advantage. We had our time, but it is gone now." Diomedes, who could very well see that Ares was standing beside Hector, lending him his strength, did not want to flag and go back to the camp of the Achaeans, not now, not in his time of glory. And he said to him, "How could I go back to the camp of the Achaeans, great Gerenian horseman Nestor, when I have been their bulwark to this point, cutting forth and leading them into the ranks of the Trojans? It is not for me to say that it is time to go. I have been blessed by the goddess Athena, and I will not allow this man to break our charge. How would the Achaeans and the Trojans speak of me? They will insult me, and they will claim that I am running from battle, that I have no strength left in me, that I am no son of Tydeus, that great man who had taken on so many of the enemy men when he took on 7-gated Thebes and stayed in that city." Nestor said, "Diomedes, what is this you say? Even if they were to say something about you, none would ever believe it. Certainly not all of the widows who you have left, men who you have cut down on this plain, whose flesh is picked forth by crows and kites. None of the widows and orphan children who you have created would ever allow them to say such a thing." And Diomedes, seeing the sense in this, brought forth his car and wheeled it round and returned at full speed to the camp of the Achaeans. And Hector, seeing him turn, immediately said with his charioteer Cebriones, "Look at this one, Diomedes. He claims to be the son of Tydeus, but he is wheeling forth. He has no strength left in him. He is but a weakling. Only sheer luck it has been that he came forth into our lines." Thus, clenching his teeth, Diomedes went back to the camp. And so Hector had been brought the day of glory, and the Trojans and Lycians and Dardans and all their allies had swarmed forth over that great opening where Zeus had but for a little space allowed the Achaeans to occupy. But soon that tide was to turn again, and both armies would feel a great pain, and many a men were to be cast down, their life force spilling into the hot dust, and all the plain was to be churned into a hot red mire, as the blood and brains of horses and men alike, Trojans and Achaeans, were to be cast down and soak that great battlefield. All right. We at least put it all back together, so now it would be play out the normal way. It was an interesting experiment to have to rectify the sort of plot hole that we had created, and it worked out pretty well. So we'll see where we can go from here. Good.